Hey everybody, what's up? It's OCD Mikey here, and it's another beautiful day in Atlanta. Again, it's a little bit cold, but I'm ready to do the morning audio show. It is the 20th of December 2023. We got Christmas coming up, Hanukkah, all sorts of holiday festivities. Everybody gets to eat their ass off and then go on a diet come New Year with their resolutions. I started early this year with my diet because, you know what, I just feel better. Anyway, so I'm going to give you guys some information here. I hope you guys understand that the information that I'm going to give you right now, I could easily charge for. If I was more of a, if I wanted to nickel and dime you guys, I would make you pay me to get the good stuff, information like what I'm about to give you right now. This is consultation. This is what people would typically pay somebody for. I'm just going to give it to you now on my channel, just as a way to sort of let you know who I am and what my credibility is. You're talking to a guy here that has owned an amplifier manufacturer, a well-known amplifier manufacturer, guy that worked in recording studios, guy that's worked with live bands and live music, a guy that has patents in connector design. I do audio repair. I can get in and sling solder and repair audio gear. I have more cred than most of the folks on YouTube, and I still only have 24,000 viewers, which is crazy. The guys that have 100,000 viewers are these guys that just tell you every month that the newest thing is great. Oh, I tried this new thing and it's really great. It's the best thing I've ever heard. Okay, whatever. We're not concerned with that. We are going to go ahead and get right into it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is please subscribe. Okay, if you haven't subscribed, please give me a thumbs up if you like this content. Support me by giving me your subscription. Subscribe to the channel, ding the bell so that it notifies you, because you'll learn a lot. And if you already know this stuff, at least you'll be entertained hearing somebody like me, a freaking payaso, go ahead and tell you things that will make you laugh. Okay, because I like to have fun. Okay, that's all I can say. So let me get into the streaming thing. What the hell is this damn streaming thing? Most of you know who it is. Kids probably don't even know what I mean when I say streaming, because that's all you guys do. But for us older guys and for us hobbyists, which this channel is about people that are hi-fi enthusiasts and hobbyists. That means we're not satisfied with just standard regular Bluetoothing to something. Okay, Bluetoothing to anything is not hi-fi. Okay, it's unacceptable for the hobbyists. So, even though I'm not saying it's not good, I use a JBL boombox that we put on the motor scooter, man, and I Bluetooth to the damn Vespa, and we have a tune box playing tunes while we're cruising around on the Vespa, or we're out back working, or I'm doing whatever. It's portable, it's easy, it sounds pretty good, and hey, there's nothing to shake a stick at. But when you get into the hobby of it all and you start to get picky about it, nothing that you Bluetooth to suffices, so you must stream. Streaming is simply not using physical media. For those that I've got guys, a lot of my clients are older guys. They're in their 70s, okay? Some even in their 80s. And they don't understand this whole thing. So part of this is for the older dudes to understand what this streaming thing is all about and why you should do it, what the case is for streaming. And then the other part is for the younger generation that doesn't know anything but Bluetoothing or cell phone with headphones, to understand there is something, the whole hobby behind this, that is much bigger than just the little cell phone and the JBL boombox, that maybe as you grow, as you make more money, that you might be interested in doing. So streaming is simply just not using physical media. Physical media doesn't really make sense in this day and age unless you want to collect art, okay? Graphic art. If you want to collect graphic pieces of art and interesting vinyl pieces of plastic, if you want to have that physical thing in your hands, some people still haven't shaken the habit. I see guys on Facebook still posting their pictures of elusive disc shipment that arrived today and all this stuff. And this is all stuff that's going to get chucked in the bin when they die. Okay. So hey, to each his own, man. If you feel good about having a big ass pile of stuff when you die, then hey, you died with a bigger pile of stuff than the next guy that didn't have, and you can keep showing off about all the stuff that you're adding to your stuff pile. I don't quite understand it at this point in my life. I'm getting rid of things because, again, as I talked to you guys before, experience to me is more important than having the stupid stuff. The stuff is irrelevant, and it's going to get chucked when your ass dies. Okay, so that is the difference. Streaming just means not having the CDs, not having the vinyl, not having the reel-to-reel tapes, which you see right here. Okay, so my stuff is reel-to-reel, analog, okay? I bought this all in one swoop. I don't buy it every day. I don't buy it every week. I bought one huge-ass collection from a vault out of Los Angeles. This was a recording studio and a recording guy, and I bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tapes for thousands and thousands of dollars, okay, because I wanted to have an archive, and this is important. So this is historic stuff. These reels were actually in the recording studio with the artist. Now, back to the point. There's two types of streaming, okay? One comes from the internet. That means you utilize someone else's collection and you pay a monthly fee to access this. The other one is your local files. Local meaning in your home, okay? So there's two types of streaming. One's from the internet, from a service. One is from your own local files that you own, that you have, okay? What are the pros and cons? From the pros about the internet-based one is it's plug and play. You buy a streamer, you put it in, you plug the thing in, you type in your credentials, your username and password for Quobuzz or title, and bam, instantly you're playing music. Instantly you have millions of albums at the tips of your fingers, and you've never had a collection. You could only dream about having access to a collection like that. So these are big corporations that have wicked huge collections, and you can access their collection for a monthly fee, okay? It removes the work from ripping your own collection. It is far more music that you could ever own, and allows you to explore laterally into genres of music that you don't have in your damn collection. And it's cool, I think, to understand the types of music, other types of music, and explore. Now, for me, that's fun. Maybe for other people, they just want to stay in their little box, in their little comfort zone, and they don't want to listen to rap. They don't want to listen to country. They don't want to try out the new music that the kids are listening to or whatever. But I find it interesting, and it helps me form knowledge about what's going on in the world. Music is a story that reflects what people are going through in the world usually. And typically, there is some good music that is current, but it's hard to find. I was watching The Voice last night. It is painful for me to watch the freaking clown show that is shit like what is popular now and what everybody buys. It's so funny. I feel so old saying what the kids buy. But that's like it is, because I know the adults aren't getting into that stupid shit. And it's like, oh man, I gotta pause. I gotta take this. This is my that was my hairstylist. I'm getting the shit cut off. You know what? There's I can't. This is so much of a pain in the ass to take care of, to keep it all beautiful and curly and clean and shit like that. Oh my god, dude, what a pain in the ass. I don't want it anymore. This is the same reason why I cut my ponytail when I had one in high school, was because after it got this long, it was a horribly pain in the ass to take care of. And all I did was pull it back and put it into a ponytail, which you might as well have shorter hair anyways, because the look is shorter. Sure, you got this thing hanging off, which shows that, yeah, I'm a rebel. I don't play by the rules. I don't need to cut my hair. But when it's gray to me, ooh, I better be like a Adonis, a Greek Adonis, to have great gray long hair. Because otherwise it just looks like, you know, Norman in Psycho, like his mom, right? Like the wig. So anyways, I get off the subject. I'm making you all listen to me right now, babble, because you know what? If I'm not charging you money, then you're going to listen to my ass babble. But hopefully this is like a podcast. You just sit there and listen. You don't really need to see me. You can be playing this thing and just listening. You don't really need to look at what I'm doing. You can just listen. Anyways. So there's two different types of streaming. One's from the internet, one's for your local files. if you stream from the internet. The pros are that it's plug and play. It removes the work. It's far more music than you could ever own. It allows you to explore laterally into genres and possibly open your teeny little human mind and you know, explore different things and just go into the unknown. I'm a big fan of experiences that you've not done yet. Okay. There's a fine line with that. Okay. But anyways, so what are the cons of that? Well, you have a monthly fee. Okay. And if you're complaining about $10 a month, you know, get over it. You know, come on, you've worked your whole life. What is $10 a month? It is like, you know, a pack of cigarettes now. And I don't even recommend smoking. So it's like, you know, I mean, if you tell me I don't want to pay the monthly fee, you're a cheap bastard. You know, maybe I shouldn't say that. Okay. I love you. I understand you want to save your money. You're on a fixed income, all that kind of stuff. It's only $10 a month. And the experience that you'll get from $10 a month is way better than a $10 cocktail that you have. And you probably have more than those every month. Okay. So, or some other stupid thing that you pay $10. You probably pay $10 on scratch offs or some shit like that. So pay your damn $10 a month and get an access to millions of freaking albums and just enjoy your music. Like, my argument is, how can you say you're into music if you're not willing to pay $10 a month for it? You're not into music. Okay. If you are, it's nothing. Okay. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Right. Okay. So, the cons are the monthly fee, and the main con, this is the main con that I see, is if the internet goes down, which it hasn't yet in my whole life, but maybe it does in your neighborhood or something. Maybe they're working on the lines and the internet goes down for, you know, a day. You won't have your music because you depend on it from the internet. So that's the drawback. You know, some people want to have now by having your own local files. The internet, you don't need the internet whatsoever to stream. You can use your LAN, your network at home, and you can just serve from there. You can have it. You don't need the internet, in other words. So that is the pro to having your local files. Now, what are the pros for having your local files? There's no monthly fee. You'll always have music. Okay. The cons are, you're limited to your collection. So if you have 500 CDs or 1,000 CDs, that's all you can listen to. That's all you're going to have. You're not going to be able to explore anything else. You're going to listen to the same shit you've been listening to for the last 15 years, okay, or longer, right? And a big part of why I like streaming is to expand out into other genres. So, and the big part is there's a ton of front-end work. To get your freaking CDs onto a hard drive is not a small task, okay? You need to rip those CDs. The process of ripping that you've heard means copying your CD to a hard drive that's in your computer, okay? That takes maybe 3 minutes per CD. If you do it at a good rate, you shouldn't rip to anything below FLAC, which you can rip to MP3, and it can do it faster in a smaller file. You can fit more on the hard drive. But MP3 is absolutely unacceptable for music listening. I will say it no more than that. Take this as word, okay? MP3 is unacceptable. You must have minimum FLAC. And typically, I recommend WAV. That is the same bit per bit as a CD. It's identical to the CD. A CD has a wave on its own piece of media. You just copy that wave, put it on your hard drive, play back the wave file, okay? A lot of people like FLAC because FLAC is a small compression. They call it non-compressed, but it is a small compression. But it interacts with getting metadata a little bit better. Now, in this day and age, maybe wave still pulls good metadata from the internet, but typically you'll get better album art results and things like that if you have it in FLAC. So what I did when I ripped my collection was I ripped it twice. I ripped one to FLAC and I ripped one to Wave. And I archive in Wave and I used FLAC to put in my server so that I could pull FLAC files because they would pull the metadata better. Metadata just means liner notes, okay, online. And album art, okay? And tags, like when you're looking for shit, okay, when you're searching things. Like, and especially when you start getting into classical music and stuff like that, there's so many different variants that the more data you can have, the better. Okay. So there's lots of front end work. Ripping. Ripping. What is ripping? Ripping is copying your CDs. What do you use for that? You use your personal computer or a laptop. If you have a laptop, you know, if it's dependable. The software, you need to get ripping software. Use one and one only, dB Power Amp. Again, dB like decibels, dB Power Amp. Don't use any other ripping software, in my opinion. This is what the audiophiles use. We've always used it. I don't know if it's changed because I haven't ripped anything in a long time, but it was always dB Power Amp, and it's probably still the same. You need to be a little bit tech savvy for this thing, okay? Because and you either need to learn or you need to hire somebody and pay them to do this work for you. Maybe some of you have a family member that can do it for you. That's fine. But the bottom line is you go into dB Power Amp and you're going to map where that thing goes so that every time you drop a CD into your thing and you close it, that it is going to pull up. It'll pull up all the songs and all that shit. And then it'll stuff it into a drive on your computer. And you pick, how do I want it? You give all the parameters. Do I want to save it as FLAC? Do I want to save it as WAVE? Where do I want to save it? You can look at all the liner notes and approve them or whatever. But there's a lot more involved in ripping your own collection. What I do when you guys buy streamers from me, if you want me to rip your collection, I've got a robotic ripper. I can stack 100 CDs into a ripper. I can walk away and that thing will do all what I'm describing for you because I've set all the parameters in there, saved to WAVE, saved to this drive. So when you buy a streamer from me or a server in this case, you get a hard drive filled with your music. So you get a music player that has your whole collection on it. Now that involves you sending your whole CD collection to me. It is a little more about you put it on spindles. You send me the whole thing. I'll rip your whole damn collection for you. It takes it. This is the extra things that I do for my clients. It's not fun, okay, but I do it. The first 100 CDs are free. After that, it's 50 cents a CD. Because I need to get paid for the time that it takes to sit there, load the ripper, see the ones that it spits out that didn't read right, figure out why they didn't read right, put them back in, all that crap, okay? This is all the thing that you have to do when you rip your CD collection. Now, you can also just pay somebody, send your CD collection to somebody, get them to put it on a hard drive, bring it back to your house. That's another way. You can use anybody. It doesn't have to be me. So you need to get your music collection. Now that is only if you want a local files. If you want your collection, chances are your collection is on Qobuz and Tidal. You don't have, if you have super rare CDs that are crazy, super rare, then, you know, maybe Tidal doesn't have them, but Tidal is going to have most everything you ever want to listen to. So the having your own local collection is just double redundancy. Okay. So what's the difference between, excuse me, I have my coffee. What is the difference between a streamer and a server? The difference is, okay, first of all, either one is just a computer. Okay. So you see these big things, Orander, all these different brands, Oralic and Wadax is one, the $120,000 computer, or this $60,000 computer. Okay. As an extreme, it's all just a computer. Okay. The difference between the cheap ones and the expensive ones is the expensive ones have a heavier duty box. Okay. They have a more purpose-built power supply. So they make a lower noise power supply and they isolate separate power supplies. Instead of having one power supply for everything, they got one for the computer motherboard. They got one for the audio, the analog, or for the audio card. They've got one for, you know, maybe the CPU. If they go real heavy, CPU can have its own damn power supply. And they isolate everything. So because those things kick noise back to the power supply and it'll pollute. I'm not going to go into it. Okay. So isolated power supplies, and you get the heavy chassis, low noise, and an audio card. So you're not taking the USB straight off the motherboard, which is noisy. You have a separate audio card that spits out USB that is a separate isolated audio card. Okay. So, so the difference between they're all just computers. They're all just computers. It's just one's more extravagantly built. The bottom line is, you know, nobody has computers that are $20,000. I don't even think NASA uses AI computers that are $20,000. If you go spend $6,000, $5,000, shit, $4,000, you're gonna get the sickest like gaming computer probably that you've ever laid hands on. Now, some of these brands, one of them in particular, you look in and man, it's a freaking Asus gaming board. I've put together these things. I've opened them up. I've looked at them. These are off the shelf computer boards. Okay. Some of the big names out there, you would be surprised. They simply assemble a computer. It's like, remember Dell Computer would take parts and he would assemble computers and then sell it as a Dell. It's the same thing. These guys are assembling computers for you, optimizing them for audio. All you do to optimize a computer for audio is give it audio related software. Okay. Give it audio related software and then give it, not even all the time. Some people don't even do the power supply or the heavy box. They just give you a computer with audio software on it and they charge you $4,000 for it when it's $100 motherboard that has an embedded CPU and they're pulling the USB straight off the motherboard. So pay attention to what you're buying. Be aware. So a streamer, the difference between a streamer and a server is a streamer is just a player. It just plays. A server is a player that holds a local music library. Okay. The former is less expensive, of course. The latter is more expensive. The reason to have the server is because it's completely contained to play local music. You don't have to use a streamer and then go to another hard drive to pull your music, which is what you have to do with the streamer. A streamer doesn't have the library. So where is your local library? It needs to be on your desktop or it needs to be on a NAS drive, network attached storage drive. So if it needs to go out to another drive, let's say it needs to go to your desktop, like in my setup, that means my desktop needs to be on, Rune needs to be open. So I need to have a desk in my office. Rune needs to be opened up and on the network in order for my system in my rig to play music. So if you don't want to have two computers on all the time to play, then you do a server, which has your library right in your HiFi rig. Okay. So everything's self-contained. You don't need to go anywhere. Okay. So, it means a NAS. That's something. Okay. So I went over that. Best way to get your feet wet with all this, because I know this is a ton of information and people try and call me and ask me all this shit. And it's like, dude, this is consultation. This costs money to explain this shit. I can't sit here with you for an hour during my day when I'm selling and making money to just give you all this information. So I'm doing it now. And I also don't make you come. I could easily, people tell me again and again, dude, you need to make these videos like I'm doing right now. I could be much more specific and have diagrams and shit and put it onto my website and then have you guys pay to learn how to do this stuff. Maybe I do it someday. I don't know. But at this point, I feel that it's nickel and diming you guys. I'd rather just get your business. And that's how you reward me. You give me a thumbs up. You subscribe to my damn channel. Okay. So I can have 100,000 viewers like these other guys. I'm trying to wrap my head around how they get 100,000 viewers. And I don't know if they buy them. I don't know what, but maybe I need to talk about stupid $100 pieces of audio and tell you it's great every week. But anyways, back to the point. If you want to get your feet wet with this, you can just take a laptop and plug your laptop into your DAC. Simply, and then you're going to buy Tidal, get a monthly subscription to Tidal or Qobuz. People argue over which is better. I have them both, okay, just to have them both. So tidal.com, I think, or just look up Tidal Audio, Tidal Music, and Qobuz, Qubuz or Qubuz, something like that, Qobuz. And just find that, get a subscription. You'll get a username and a password, and then you just sign on in your laptop and then set the output to the USB, plug it into your DAC, and you'll have the experience of what it's like to explore laterally to your heart's content. And you get an idea of what that's like. Okay. The next step up is to use something, a very small server, a little guy that comes in a box. Raspberry Pi based. What's a Raspberry Pi? Raspberry Pi is a baby computer. Okay, it's a little teeny thing that fits. It's like the size of a credit card, and it's a freaking computer. You don't need really more than that to have streaming. When you get more than that, you're just going more elaborate. You're using a computer, a bigger motherboard that's designed to do stronger tasks, which you're never going to use with music. All you're asking that computer to do is spit out a data bit stream of music. That's it. So a Raspberry Pi can handle it. Okay. So you go to Allo, ALLO.com, Raspberry Pi based streamers. I don't make money off Allo. Here's another brand that I'm telling you about that I'm not selling, that I don't make any money off of. I'm sending you elsewhere to make them money. Ooh. You get a low noise power supply. So you get yourself like a, a US bridge is the one if you want USB output. The other one is Digi1 player reference, Digi1 reference or signature. Digi1 signature is SPDIF output. US bridge is USB output. So depending on the output, what you want. Typically SPDIF is for older DACs. USB is for the newer DACs. You get one of those little things. They're this big. They're $300 roughly. And then you get the low noise power supply. I think it's called Nirvana. It has both dirty side and clean side. What that means is this power supply outputs unfiltered stuff for to power the or not as heavy filtered to power the motherboard. And then the other one that has the clean power powers your USB output, your sound card, because you'll see a little stack. The sound card is stacked right on top of the motherboard. So it's a killer little stack that you get. There, all together, it's under $500, but you can't use Rune. Okay, you're going to use Allo, DietPi, Volumio. You need to be somewhat savvy, man. You can't go into this blind. You need to learn a little bit, and you're going to have different applications or different software, playback software. That's the other part of this picture is the playback software. Which software do you want? If you buy Orinder or something like that, they're going to have their own playback software. If you buy something else, a different streamer, they may have their own software, which usually isn't as developed as something like Rune. Rune is an aggregator software. It aggregates. It pulls music from Qobuz. It pulls music from Tidal. It pulls music also from your local library. And then you get 3 different results when you ask for a song or you ask for a band. You get the answers from 3 different places, Qobuz, Tidal, and your local music library. So Rune is an aggregator. You pay for that thing. Rune is resource heavy. It's a resource pig. It's probably the most developed software. I hate it, but I use it every day. I'm not going to go into why. It's not because of its functionality. It's because of the way the company works. It's always running shit in your background, your computer. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. There's much simpler softwares to use. Allo has DietPi, which is a very simple software. Volumio, made in Italy, a great software. Michelangelo, great guy. Or you can use something like mConnect Pro, which is free, and you use it with anything. You can use mConnect Pro. You need to learn some things about this. You're not going to just have something that is. You have to learn a little bit, okay? So anyways, if you're tech savvy, you can build your own damn server, okay? But you need to know how to put a server together, it's just like building a computer. You put a motherboard in there, you put some RAM in there, you put, if it's embedded, you don't need to worry about the CPU, or you add a CPU with a cooler, and then you put a hard drive in there, you load the distro. I always recommend using a Linux distro for your software. You're going to have 3 different choices of software to use for your streamer playback. You're going to have a Linux, a Windows, or a Macintosh, okay, or Apple. I don't recommend Apple or Mac or Windows, okay, because those are something completely designed for. It's a word processor ultimately, and it's a desktop computer software. And then you're stripping it down and trying to do all this bullshit, but they still run a bunch of threads. There's updates and all this bullshit that you have to do with those 2. So I recommend a Linux distro. Linux distro does not need drivers. It works with every DAC. You plug it in, it works. It's plug and play. Windows, you might need to have Windows drivers or Apple drivers. You might need to use some shit, and you've got updates. So I recommend don't use Windows or Apple for music playback. You can, if you want to just put your toe in the water. You want to use your laptop or your Apple iBook, whatever. Just use the analog or use the USB output to your DAC just to get your foot wet. But if you're getting serious and you're going to buy a streamer that uses its own Linux-based software because it's much easier. Trust me on this, okay? You can build your own thing if you want to, and it can be sick sounding. I built one that beat every single high-end listening $10,000 streamers I was beating with a $2,000 server that I had built. But you need to be tech savvy. You need to know how to build a computer. You need to know how to load a distro onto the hard drive and make it work. You need to be computer savvy. That's all there is to it. So this also means if you're going on the used market, you're looking on US Audio Mart to buy used streamers, okay? That you better be tech savvy for that shit, because especially if you're buying a clone where someone says Raspberry, or they say like Rune Core clone, okay? Ooh, man, you better stay away from that, because you don't know how that dude has put that thing together. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Sometimes they can be cheap, but you have zero support. Okay, so you better be tech savvy if you're going to buy a used clone or a used DIY, or you're going to DIY it yourself. And holy crap, I've gone 30 minutes. This is such a big subject that I'm trying to cram everything into one. But I think I've given you enough to completely confuse you. Now, if you're listening, you will understand some of the difference. Streaming is simple. Streaming just means not using hard media. You use a computer to do it. You either use a streamer or a server, whether you want your local library or you just want to pull from the internet. And you just need to have a little bit of knowledge to set it up. It's not that hard, okay? And some companies make it very easy. I will be bringing a streamer with full support of a company behind it shortly. So if you guys want to wait till after the new year, I will have something that I will offer to the tribe that will be trouble-free. Anyways, thanks for joining. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you all, and see you.